All right, so we're going to respond to the questions from our friends at Skatistan about Osama bin Laden. And we'll start with their first question. Are you happy that Osama bin Laden is now dead?
I am. My mom and I were very happy to hear that news. When the night that we pulled the article up online, I opened the internet page and I found it, and I didn't think it was real at first. And then my mom came up behind me on the computer and she was like, oh my god, you gotta click that. So we clicked it, and it was a whole article about how he was dead, and I was like, we looked at each other and we were like, oh my god, he's dead. We were just
why?
Very excited.
Tell me why.
Well, because my stepdad is, he's in the National Guard, and he had to go to Iraq for 14 months, and it was just relieving to hear that he would never have to go back again, and that's not totally impossible, but the chances of him going again now are really, really slim, and it's just
so
it's relieving.
Kind of personal to you.
Yeah, it is kind of personal, and it was just it was like it wasn't completely in vain, the whole fact that he had to go to begin with. So
I think the beginning and the end of the whole Osama bin Laden thing was kind of, for me it was really weird, because I remember when I was 8 years old seeing the Twin Towers get bombed on the TV. I was just standing there in front of the TV like, what's going on TV here? I thought it was just Good Morning America getting a scenic shot of New York, and then there's airplanes crashing into it. And then when I was watching just on the news, I kept seeing Osama's face on there. I was like, and the volume was really low, so I was like, what's going on? I was like, is this some sort of memorial? And then I was like, oh my god, they actually killed him. It's the same kind of weird, bewildering feeling. Like when you first see the clips, it takes you it literally took me about 10 minutes to register that this is going on.
You don't think it's real,
and I was staring at it for the majority of the time, so it was really weird.
Yeah, I had the same sensation because I was with Sarah in her kitchen when her mom came barging in and telling her, and they were really excited, but I just had this sensation of just nothing. I didn't know if this was gonna really do anything for the most part, because like I said before, Osama bin Laden was the icon of why this war was happening and stuff, but in the past few years in the media, he's just never been really important anymore, and the idea of war has changed. So when he was killed and died, I was more worried about the fact what's going to happen next rather than what's happening now.
How do you think that his death changes things?
I don't know, honestly, because it's he's not there to be the leader of what this terrorist group is all about, but at the same time it's there's other people than just him in that group and belief system, so there can be others coming out of shadows and doing things
yeah, like you said earlier, where you said that some people are going to view him as a martyr, so it's just you said the cause lives on.
I kind of felt the same way. He says that because I do remember vividly watching the towers fall, and I understood what was happening. And also, I lived those 10 years knowing all of what was going on and everything that had happened and how things were changing and developing. And also, just the moving between different countries and how Hussein was hanged. And we all saw that. And how much does that register in our minds now? And how much will this register in our minds, 5 years from now? And I understand, and I do see that when the planes hit and when the towers fell, it was his picture, and that was the target. But at the same time, that faded, and it was Hussein that we saw, and we attacked and destroyed for whatever reason it was. And now this man's dead, and he was an icon, a thing for them, the martyr. And for us, it seems more like just another target to hit. And it's kind of like ways to sedate the people. Like, we did this for you and that's it. This is done. And people, I don't feel, will really feel about terrorism as strongly. And it's as if, the battle was won, but the war wasn't, but the people gave up and let the war keep going. But as long as it's not on their TVs, it's not really going on.
I feel like people won't be interested in terrorism and this whole ideal until there's like a new boogeyman, like he was speaking about. Like all these icons are just like manifestations of our fear of what's gonna happen, and that's what's gonna occur, like unless we really do have the sensation of this ending and the war being done.
Let's think for just a minute about how things have changed some, both with the death of Osama bin Laden and also just with the shape of things changing some in the Middle East and the greater region. What do you think we might build on here?
I think what I immediately noticed is that instead of people actually thinking oh, now we can take a break from the war on terror or whatever Bush called it, now people are more they're more aware of it, because as I was saying, how people need a figurehead. The figurehead of terrorism to anyone who was stereotypical was basically every feature that Osama bin Laden had. And now, I think people are going to be searching for a new icon that they could try to pursue. And now everyone's just really, on edge about what's going to happen, thinking that Al-Qaeda is going to attack and retaliate in some way.